Okay, this is my third video on my channel, and thank you for the 2 subscribers who have subscribed, and comment about what your thoughts on this are, and subscribe because it'll get the channel off the ground. But yeah, this is part 3 of what if Deku had a half and half quirk. Okay, so quick recap. Basically, Deku did the entrance exam and got first place with I think 194 points, and villain and hero points, and yeah, he's quite overpowered. I mean, at least that's what I would think. But yeah, so Deku just did the Heroes versus Training, and they destroyed Bakugo and Ida in less than a minute, because Deku just flew up, and with his thing that he got, that Aang has in The Last Airbender, and he saw where the bomb was, and then he had Uraraka float him up while he would grab onto Uraraka, and then so it's not really actually her getting dizzy from or needing to throw up or getting dizzy from floating herself. So yeah, and then they just crashed through the window, and Deku wrapped the tape around Bakugo's ankle, and then Ida chased after Deku, and then they won when Uraraka touched the bomb. And nobody's commented about who the ship is, and if I get into it, I will choose, because this is non-scripted. But if I don't get to that, you guys tell me in the comments, but yeah, if you want to, you don't have to, but it'd be nice, because I would like you guys to tell me part of the story, because, yeah. But, so, Deku is just training with Azula and Bakugo, and Bakugo was kind of annoyed at Deku, not really, but kind of, because he wanted a good fight against Deku, but since he just did that, yeah, it didn't. He didn't get a good fight, so he was kind of pissed off. But that's just Bakugo, being Bakugo. And yeah, so Deku is he is just training with them, and then they went to go get some sushi, let's say, or something like that, I don't know. And Deku is, Deku just gets home, falls asleep, skip to bus ride. Deku says that his quirk is a half and half quirk, and Azula says that, and then Todoroki's like, they both have half and half quirk, even though he probably could have seen just by multiple different ways. But yeah, and so they get to the USJ, and they see the villains come through, or the portal open. They see the villains walk through, and Deku just takes a little a piece of stone out of the ground, about the length of a chopstick and maybe an inch in diameter, and just doesn't throw it, but launches it at, not very hard, but launches it at the first villain that walks through, and just knocks him out, falls back through the portal, and they're like, the rest of the villains are like, whoa, okay, and then they keep walking through. And then Deku's like, that's a lot more than I thought. And yeah, so they all come through, and yeah, and Shigaraki's like, God damn it, where's All Might? And that stuff, and yeah, Deku just like runs down, and I was like, wait, don't, it's dangerous. You know, I was always like, ugh, I don't get paid enough for this, or whatever he says. I don't know if he says that in USJ, but it's what he's gonna say. And yeah, so Deku is just beating up the villains. They're like trying to shoot him and stuff, but he's just blocking it all with the stone, and then launching at some people and flying around and kicking them in the head. And Aizawa was beating them up, and then everybody else gets sent to their own different places. And then I'm gonna say Deku sees that Suyu and Mineta are stuck on the boat, and Deku's like, he just like takes a piece out of the part of the boat that they're standing on, and then just throws it over there. I know that it's a lot, but Deku's really powerful, and it took a little bit of strength part of his strength out of him, but he could handle it. And yeah, so Deku is just fighting those villains, and then when they're all done, and everybody's back at the top of the stairs, since Aizawa is a pro hero, even though Shigaraki saw Deku take down all those villains, he thinks that he just was lucky and took down all the weak ones, because Shigaraki probably didn't know which ones were stronger than the others. And yeah, so he sends a Nomu at Aizawa, and then he's about to punch Aizawa when a piece of ice just gets stabbed in his hand when it's about to punch him, and it steps back because it just got a huge piece of ice in its hand. And yeah, then comes in Azumi, and she just rushes the Nomu, and then comes up, creates an ice thing, like an ice sword, and not thing, a sword, and like says, give me one reason not to kill you, like, and then Nomu doesn't say anything, so then just grabs Azumi and throws her away, and Deku slows her down with some air, and then also rushes him, and then, or not rushes him, just takes a pillar from, or just takes something from under his feet and then launches him up, and then takes another pillar of stone, and then just hits the Nomu right in the stomach, and he goes flying backwards, and this is when oh wait, I forgot. He gets launched up and then gets hit in the stomach. He doesn't get flying backwards because he has shock absorption. And Deku's like, oh, so he has regeneration and shock absorption. And that must be super strength or something, because he's so strong. I don't think it actually is super strength, because that's what I always said, but he's just really strong. So Deku's thinking that it's super strength, but he doesn't care. He just thinks that he needs to take it out. So he takes a stake, like a wooden stake that you use to kill vampires or whatever, except made out of stone. Uses this ground to launch him up, and lands on the Nomu's shoulders and stabs the Nomu in the head multiple times, and then the Nomu died, and because he heard Shigaraki say that it was created by them using multiple quirks or something like that, and Deku was like, it was created, so he goes stab in the brain, and so in comes All Might. I don't know if I said that he came in then, but in comes All Might, and then Shigaraki and Kurogiri had left by then, and so I'm tired. So All Might comes in, and they arrest all the villains, and saw the Nomu's dead body, and asked who killed him, and Deku was like, I did, because it wasn't actually alive. It was probably a person who was killed and then used as a body for multiple quirks, and was just a servant, really powerful servant that was meant to kill you. And Almi's like, whoa, that's weird, because Deku's gonna be really smart in this, or a lot smarter than he normally is in this, and he's as smart as Momo, not Momu. Momo, I'm so used to saying Nomu right now. Momo. Yeah, it's Rosu. And, so, hey, back. 2 weeks off. Deku's just chilling, because he needs a rest from, not exerting too much power, but, just fighting so many villains. And Izumi is just training out with Bakugo, and so I'm tired, like I said before. So, they're just training, and then they get, another 2 weeks or something like that for the sports festival. And, so Deku is just, Deku's just training for the next 2 weeks or something like that, and, Deku's, and then everybody comes out for the sports festival, and Deku's like, whoa, that's so many people, or something like that. So he gives a speech because he was the first place in the fighting robots thing, and, so he's like, everybody have fun, and let's all just do our best, and I will have fun fighting you all. And then steps down, and they're like, okay, because they didn't know what they were expecting. I'm like, they thought they were, like, expecting, like, really, somebody really nice or somebody really cocky like Bakugo. But Deku's, like, confident, but not cocky, I guess you would say. And he just wants to fight them. And, yeah, so... Jesus, can I stop yawning, please? But, yeah, so he's just, chilling until they say that that they have to go. And then, yeah, so first thing, that comes up, I know I'm saying they're training. Deku's just been training his physical body because he thinks that he's basically maxed out his quirk. And he has maxed out his quirk and strength and stuff. Like, it won't get any stronger, but he's gonna learn different, like, types of different types of moves and stuff from that strength. And, yeah, so Deku, gets to the robots, and, he just, like, destroys them. He's using the wind around him to make him run faster, because he can run really fast by doing that. And, he gets to the robots, and then he just makes them collapse from the metal bending, and then they all fall on, like, in front of everybody else, because that's what he wanted them to do. And then here comes the rock thing, and he just jumps from rock to rock, and they're quite far behind him, and he jumps from rock to rock and collapses each one because he wants it to be harder for them to get across. And I don't know how they're gonna get across. I'm just gonna not focused on them, so they're just gonna get across. I don't know how. Let's say, like, Vine Girl made a vine bridge across, and they all ran across that or something, because she wasn't, she didn't want to ruin everybody and just have him win the entire tournament, and they wouldn't be able to make it or something like that. And then Minefield, he just uses the earth to explode them in front of him, and then just creates a trail, but he doesn't care because he's way far ahead of them. And then he wins, and yeah, so he just waits until the Cementos makes the cement square thing or whatever, and yeah. Why am I so freaking tired? It's only like 4:30. Jesus. But, yeah, so Deku is just with everybody else when they get back, and they're all panting. But Deku is fine because, yeah, he's been waiting a while. And, yeah, so next is the thing on the thing, horse race thing or whatever, where there's 3 horses and 1 rider or whatever. And Deku's the rider. He has the 10 million or million or however many points that was. And this time basically all of 1A wants to be on their team, but they don't know how powerful. I mean, they know that Deku's really powerful, but they don't know how powerful he is, and they would think that he just exerted basically all his power with that, but he exerted like 20% of it. So he is kind of winded, but not really. And yeah, so Deku is just doing his he's just on the top of, let's say he knows who he wants to like fight, so he's gonna choose Azumi, Bakugo, and Todoroki because he wants to fight all of them. And yeah, so I know how you think like that I don't know if you think that, but like Bakugo, he could fight Bakugo and Azumi not during school, but he doesn't want to because he's afraid that they destroy like a lot of where they live or wherever they're fighting. So they thought that this would be the best place. So what they do is they just when they're done, they just make when it starts, they just make a pillar up, like a big pillar up, and just wait it out until the timer's out, and they got first. Not like nothing crazy. Okay, I guess I can get through a couple fights. Okay, Deku versus Shinso. Okay, so he gets told that if you talk to Shinso, then you will get possessed by him, and then Shinso just starts talking shit about his sister, and he gets pissed about that, but he doesn't say anything. He just takes a pillar from beside him, and or makes a pillar from beside him, and then hits him right in the jaw, and he goes flying out of the ring, and gets knocked out, and then, yeah, he won. And then, yeah, so then he, all the other fights go the same, except instead, let's say, who was him I'll take out? Mei Hatsume is gonna be taken out instead. So next fight, is taken out instead of, he's taken out instead of, Azumi and Bakugo are gonna have switched, so he's gonna be fighting whoever they fight. Like, Mei fights Ida and somebody else that I don't remember. But yeah, all the other fights go the same, where, yeah, Azumi and Bakugo win, and then, Todoroki versus, Deku. Deku's like, ooh, this one's gonna be fun, Fire and Ice versus, Earth and Air, and, Deku had the talk with Todoroki and stuff during the lunch break, but I couldn't be bothered to say anything about that. I also may have forgotten about it, but I'm talking about it now, but we don't have to talk about that. But, yeah. Except then, when he was talking with him before, he convinced Todoroki to fight with his fire, because, yeah, and he hasn't gotten full control of it, but he also, yeah, and, so he is just, they'd say midnight says start, and Todoroki just sends a massive thing of like wall, or not wall, but like massive the blast, I guess you would say, of ice at Deku, and Deku just dodges it, and then he sends a blast of air at him, and Todoroki just makes a wall of ice, and then sends a blast of fire, so it's kind of like the same thing, where he can just do the same thing with ice, except Earth is more powerful, and, like, stronger than it, and, yeah, and then fire, I don't know who'd win against that. If they, like, both had fire and air, I don't know who'd win against that, but if, yeah, you get my point. So, they just start battling, or, like, fighting, and Deku pulls out, like, a quarter of the, they're just, like, switching back and forth, and Deku's like, okay, time to end this, the tournament's gotta keep going, and then he just takes out a quarter of the entire frickin', of the entire arena, and then just smashes it down in the general direction of Todoroki, and he gets sent flying into the wall just from the air pressure, and Deku's fine. He's used about 65% of his power, or no, 45, because, yeah, and, so, everything goes the same. Deku versus, Bakugo, cause, yeah. Bakugo just runs at him, and he knows how powerful he is, so he knows that he has to be fast, and he goes in and makes it look like he's doing a right hook, his usual, and Bakugo knows that Deku's been, like, keeping notes on him, so he makes it look like he's going right, so Deku dodges the other direction left, and wait, would he dodge left? No, he dodged right, too, and then, Bakugo comes in with his left hand and blasts Deku right in the face and sends Deku flying. And on his back, he's just laying there. He's like, wow, he's caught pretty good. And then stands himself back up. And he just gets a ton of balls of rock and sends it around him, and, like, kind of like those things that are used in Naruto, like the things that Naruto and Madara, I think, uses. I could be wrong because I haven't watched it, but, like, yeah. The point is, yeah. Okay, so Deku is just, like, fighting Bakugo, and then he gets a ton of balls out, and then starts floating them around him, and then turns them into square. No, he keeps them in balls, then launches them at Bakugo, and first one hits him in the stomach, sends him flying back. The second one hits him in the left side, sends him flying right, and he's just getting beat back and forth in the air tons of times until he gets knocked out, and then he gets hit in the stomach one more time and launched out of the arena. Deku wins. Okay, the video's gotten long enough that if I go any longer, then it won't let me post it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next part. Bye.